Cookie Monster's in the house.
I did tell you I married the Cookie Monster. I was married for a week and I called my mom and I'm like, oh, I married the Cookie Monster.
And eventually he had the physique to prove it.
Yes, and he showed that a balanced diet is a cookie in each hand. Somebody asked for a picture of him the other day of what he looked like before he lost weight. I found one this morning. I'll have to put it on sometime. He has to...
It's not distorted, it's a real picture.
He has to make up for something he said yesterday.
Oh, not that I'm in trouble with her. We had a comment. It was a cute comment. When I said that we could eat...
If you eat
a Kit Kat, that you could eat a vegetable with it to get it balanced out. What I meant was, if you are going totally stark raving mad because of the sugar addiction you have and you're going out of your head and you just have to have it, you can't avoid it, you're going to go crazy and hurt somebody or worse, then if you're going to do that, also include, and I like the suggestion about wrapping it in a kale leaf. Good choice. You don't have to go quite that far, but do eat some kind of a non-starchy vegetable as you're enjoying your Kit Kat or Snickers or whatever your hidden pleasure is.
In other words, we weren't giving you permission to go have a Kit Kat. We were just saying, if you do, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So it's what I tell her all the time.
I don't have a Kit Kat.
I know you don't.
Oh, okay. So the non-starchy vegetable is the one I'm going to make an extra comment about. We have a wonderful person who follows us all the time. His name is Eric, and he makes great comments. And today he said, yes, but all vegetables are carbohydrates. That is true. In the book that I follow by Dr. Schwartzbein that got me started in this, who's the endocrinologist, she said that she doesn't count non-starchy vegetables as a carbohydrate if they are less than a half a cup, if they're a half a cup or less, because they usually are less than 5 grams. So the reason we eat so many vegetables and need to is because the fiber in them slows down our digestion by taking up space, and that makes them for a lower glycemic index, so it doesn't shoot your sugars up. So thank you, Eric, for that.
So while I'm in doing disclaimers, do you remember who the person was who suggested that we would not be able to keep the snakes out of the chicken coop?
No.
Oh, okay. So instead of making a direct statement, I'm willing to accept the challenge. Here's the deal though, we have to set a time limit, there have to be some parameters, and I'm going to say for the summertime, and we'll take that through September, that's not a problem.
Oh boy.
I think our chickens will be out of there, but we're not going to keep them in there the whole summer. I mean, we're going to keep them in there till they're ready to free range and use the chicken tractor.
We're going to keep him in there till he gets 2 more chicken tractors made.
Yeah, that's part of it. So there's a time limit on this. Once we have the chicken tractors, they go into the chicken tractors. But I'm motivated because it's going to be smaller chickens and not going to have eggs in there until the winter time. I doubt we'll have snakes in the winter time, so there's no reason to take it.
I'm really scared about the chickens getting eaten.
But I'm committed, and I've got some ideas, and I don't want snakes in my chicken house. So I take the challenge during the summer, and by snake being in the chicken house or not, it means either they're in there and I find them, or they're never in there and I never find them. And I'm honest, I'll let you know for sure if that's going to happen. So I accept the challenge, but here's the deal. If by the time our chickens move out, which could be, how many weeks do you think that would be? We're going to be getting them in there later this week, but how many weeks do you think it'll be that they'll be in there?
They'll be in there, at least 4 weeks.
At least 4 weeks, okay. So
I don't see you getting those things built before then.
So it's at least 4 weeks. It could be more than that. So, you know, a month or so is what we're talking about. So it's not forever. So that may affect whether or not you're willing to accept the challenge. But here's what it is.
Snake season.
Yeah, it's snake season right now. If during that time period when my chicks are in there, if a snake gets in there, you win. If a snake doesn't get in there, I win. Whoever loses has to buy the other one dinner.
However you do that.
However you do that.
Okay.
You got PayPal, we can do this. So that's the challenge. If you're willing to accept it, come back and make a comment. Now, if you didn't make the original comment, you can't, okay? You can't join in on this. Just that particular person.
You want me to go look up who it is?
No, the person knows who they are, and if they want to follow through, they can do it. So, they may be seeing me now saying, oh, this guy, he's committed to this. I think he can do it. He can. It's going to make it happen. Now, I will admit, I have one huge gap that I have to solve. Getting the house all firmed up so there are no gaps that a snake can get into. I'm confident on that. The one that I'm not confident on is the door that lets the chickens in and out every day into their yard. If the snake can get into the yard, it can get into there. So that's the one I've got to work on. So that's your out. I mean, if it gets in there, that counts as them getting in. So that's the one I've got to solve. Obviously, if they get in the other ones.
I'm going to bake cookies now.
Anyway, I accept the challenge.
I'm pushing him out. All right. So I had to turn the camera sideways. So that's why I'm kind of standing like this, because there's a big window here and it just kind of glared. So I am making Quaker oat cookies, but they're completely changed in the way that I'm making them. And that's one of the things I want you to learn how to do, is alter your recipes. So this recipe, and you know what, I'm not going to tell you all the ingredient that goes in here. You could go get a cookie recipe and look it up on their thing, on their, you know, it's in the top of the lid of every oatmeal. And you can just pay attention to what I'm adding and changing. So I've got 2 sticks of grass-fed butter in here. And I am adding 1/3 cup of coconut oil, coconut sugar. That is my sugar. 1/3 cup. Okay, I think it calls for 1.5 cups of 2 different kinds of sugars. So that just tells you how much I put it down. It also calls for, I changed it and put applesauce in it. And unsweetened applesauce. And I don't have any unsweetened applesauce right now. I am out of it. But I'm going to put some apples in it, and these are unsweetened. They just have cinnamon in them. So this ought to be fun. What I do is, when I have my apples, is I make up a bunch of apple pie filling that's already done. And I don't add sugar. Okay, so I am going to beat that much until it's done. 2 eggs. I add vanilla and almond extract. I love almond extract. I think it makes things taste fancy and good. Now I am using wheat flour. If you're using a substitute, then do that, but I still use wheat flour. And what I need to do is sprout that wheat and dehydrate it and use it. That is what I need to do. Absolutely. I'm going to accept that challenge. Baking soda. Cinnamon. And I'm adding a little bit of nutmeg to it. I usually use pink Himalayan salt. I have not opened my pink Himalayan salt. I've got to get an airtight container because all my spices are turning solid because of the humidity. And I paid too much for that for it to turn solid. So I am using sea salt right now. Oatmeal. Going to do a twist. I'm going to add a little bit of unsweetened chocolate. I just had a tiny bit left in here and I thought, well, what the heck, why not? I also add unsweetened coconut. Whoop. Well, that was a third of a cup. A little bit more. Okay. And I add, if you have raisins or craisins, these are bluesions. We made these. I have a video on them. I'll put it up here for you. Up here for you? What, somewhere? They're blueberries that are dehydrated. They are so good. When everybody was eating their snacks at our conference that we went to, our workshop, we were eating bluesions, blueberry raisins. I'm going to add 2/3 of a cup of that. And of course, dark chocolate chips. 1 cup. Walnuts. All done. So I am going to put these in bars and cut them. So they do have different kinds of sugar in them. They have coconut sugar. They have the sugar that's in coconut. They have the sugar that's in the blueberries. I think that's all. Oh, and the sugar that's in the apples naturally. So you can see why you don't need to add all that other sugar. In fact, I think I'd already taken it down to 1/4 of a cup in my past times, and I just didn't write it down that way. I'm going to have to determine how long to keep this in the oven, so we will experiment and let you know. I've got it at 350 and I've got it on my convection. So now that I've made cookies, I think it might be a good day to tell you how to wean off of sugar. Taper down. Number 1, you want to add more fat and more protein and more fiber into your diet. So by eating the vegetables that are low glycemic, they're going to help the food that you do eat to be able to process slower. The protein that you need to be able to eat, it's just imperative that you add in protein. And when you're eating meat, you want to make sure it's grass-fed and pasture-raised. And if you're not eating meat, then eat lots and lots of the vegetables and items that have the protein in them. The fat that you want to eat is real butter. You want to eat almonds. You want to eat avocados and ghee, and just use things that will really help with that. The second thing that you want to do is get sugar out of your house. Don't have it there. If it's not there, it can't be a part of your life, and you have to really work at trying to go and get it. Cut out those sugary drinks. Not just soda, but all those sugary drinks. Drink water. Those of you drink herbal teas, drink that kind of stuff. Carbonated water, kefir that's carbonated. All of that. And then, you know, on the internet, we help each other out. And so I was looking up this morning, Dr. Axe, you may be familiar with him. And he was saying that the third thing you need to do is take chromium. We don't take any supplements, but the way he talked about it was really good. So chromium, you would take 200 micrograms 3 times a day with your meals. And he also said to add in your B complex vitamins, because those both curb your cravings for sugar. So those aren't from me, those are from him, and I haven't tried that. And then the last one is exercise. And you don't want to just do long marathon running cardio exercises. You want to do weightlifting, and you want to do yoga and Pilates, and then short burst exercises where you're doing real intense and then you let off, or real intense and let off. Those are the kind of exercises you want to do to be able to help with sugar cravings. And those 4 items should help in reducing sugar, which is funny that I say that on a day when I'm making cookies. But I want you to realize how low amount of sugar I put in this compared with what the original recipe calls for. You do not have to let go of everything in your life that's a pleasure. You just have to plan it out. Well, they're done, and it only took about 19 minutes. I had them in a convection oven, so let me just show you. They're right here. They're supposed to cool completely before I cut them. They're very firm, and I just don't want them to get dry. They're kind of golden around the edges. I have one more disclaimer or explanation to everyone, because I've gotten several comments about why in the world I wore white pants when I was cleaning the barn. Those are my sacrificial white pants, and in fact we're going to go down and buy to Goodwill and buy light colored scrubs because they're really light weight and so they're cooler. But I wear white or very light pants whenever possible because I can see the ticks then that are on them, and when I wear black I can't. I can't ever see the chiggers, and they still get me sometimes, but that's why I do it. It's just my own peace of mind. We're both trying to wear light colored clothes so that we can see if something is on us. So that's why. I will let you come back one more time and see these after they're cool and cut. And I wish you could taste them. I just took a tiny little bite of them, and of course when things are hot they're not as sweet, so it really had no sweet taste whatsoever. 1/3 cup of sugar isn't very much for this batch. I believe it calls for a cup of one sugar and 2/3 cup of another kind, like brown sugar, white sugar. And so you can see how much I cut out. Probably 1 1/3 cups is what I've cut out of this recipe. So way, way more than
Drum roll, please.
I love these. I want to show you.
Good.
Out of this little container, and it's not even a 9 by, it's not a great big huge cookie sheet. Look how tiny I cut them. So I got 72 out of this little
Look
one.
how thick they are.
They're very thick. So we will take these, freeze a whole bunch of them because you don't need very much, but you also don't need a big bite. When you're giving yourself a treat, it's a little bite. That's all you need.
It's not a meal.
Now, these will go into small containers in the freezer.
We really appreciate you being part of our journey and spurring us on and giving us things to think about and asking us thought-provoking questions. It's a fun journey. We have a blast doing this. Thanks for watching.